One of the things I've always kind of wondered was like, did you kind of have a almost like a eureka moment where you combined the level of technicality with groove and you were like, that's it, that's gonna be our thing?
Yeah, yeah, that's kind of the way it was back in the early days of all this. And it was like I knew I liked shit like Obituary, the heaviness, the all that kind of slower tempoed, chugged out kind of thing. And then I like the shred people like Paul Gilbert and of course Yngwie Malmsteen. Yngwie Malmsteen was my first concert I ever attended.
No way.
It's like, yeah, back in 1985. It was the Rising Force, or maybe it was like 84 to be exact. It was the AC/DC headline. It was the Fly on the Wall tour, and Yngwie Malmsteen opened up. I saw it in Baltimore. So anyway, of course, man, Yngwie Malmsteen was like, that's what real guitar is all about. I like the song composition and the catchiness of AC/DC and all that. But I was like, man, if you could throw in, that, shred kind of stuff, it'll make it more balanced, well, a little more interesting. And that's kind of, yeah, it was like a Eureka kind of thing. That was back in the 90s, I guess, started kind of figuring that out and developing that formula and stuff. And, you know, some of the thrash bands were doing this kind of thing, like Coroner, Forced Entry, uh, kind of death row, like German kind of like underground kind of fucking technical thrash and stuff. Even like Destruction's release from Agony, that album, uh, you know, had some tech moments and all this. So yeah, that's kind of how it all worked out. Kind of got the dual vocal thing from Carcass, from to be honest, seeing them play, and also Deicide. It's like Deicide was doing the high pitch, and then it would do the low and blending. I was like, that's fucking sick. I love Glenn Benton's voice and all that back on their early albums and all, and that's we just kind of put it all together, and this is like the kind of stuff that makes me have a good time. It's the kind of music I enjoy, and that's what this is all about. That's our recipe, if you will. So,
Well, it's a thumping good one, man.
yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah, yeah.
but I was also wondering, what is it that kind of draws you to the extreme? Like, I feel like Fetus is just like remorseless, like all the time.
you know, I guess it came from a bit of like, there's a bit of a competitive nature with this, like with the death metal bands, and especially like I'd say 10 years ago, you know, when you had bands like Necrophagus was on top, and in my opinion, that's like pretty much the best death metal band. I know it's debatable and everybody has their opinions and this and that, but I felt like back then, they were setting the bar high. And so, you had all these cool bands, like Suffo, we all know the good bands that are doing it. So it just made us try harder and everything. So we're just, you know, trying to take it one step ahead or further.
Do you think you mentioned the sort of heyday of like necrophagists with Epitaph and things like that. Do you think
Yeah.
that there's kind of like an upswing at the moment in the scene of death metal?
Yeah. I mean, I've been noticing it in our recent tours, the kids have been coming out, and heavy metal is it's on the rise, I feel like, and stuff. And I feel like a big part of it is Metallica. I'm happy to see Metallica or like kind of like waving the heavy metal flag again, and not really trying to be experimental. And I think that could be helping the scene kind of come alive or something, and but yeah, man, in general, I think most of the bands are doing pretty well these days. We're just trying to bring that heyday back to 2023, man. We still feel like it's 93 right now, even though it's not. Yeah.
Yeah. You still got that spirit. Well, I was going to say, I think a big part of it is bands like you taking, bands like Frozen Soul out, or I think was it Phobophilic and bands like that as well, Undeath
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah. That's that's the thing. It's up to the bigger dogs to kind of take the smaller ones out, and then everyone gets proper exposure and stuff. And yeah, man, fucking, they're doing well. We've had some very successful shows with those guys. We're about to do it again in Europe here in a few weeks, doing some shows, and that's what it's all about. The people that really try hard, the people that focus and really, you know, put everything they have into this. Those are the ones that succeed most of the time. You have to have the extreme desire, just like anything in life, to do it.
So I wanted to quickly chat about Feast of Ashes as well, the video. I love the nod to Wrong One to Fuck With at the beginning. I thought that was awesome.
Okay, yeah. Pretty intense, right? So we wanted to at least have one like gory, violent video for the album release, couple like live production songs, and then we don't want to overdo it like every video to be like, because it gets censored a bit on the YouTube, and you have to have age restrictions and this and that, so it can kind of be a pain in the ass for people to see it. So we don't want to go too overboard with this, and in fact that we took out a lot of the violence and stuff and put in more crowd kind of movements. But yeah, man, overall it's a good video, great video. Song is very strong. I really like that one. I like the way the solo came out, and that's one of the songs we're going to be doing live. We've been doing Compulsion for Cruelty, and also Unbridled Fury live, and soon to have Feast of Ashes in our set list as well. And yeah, man,
Awesome.
happy with that one.